The Kansas City Chiefs are gearing up to play in a third consecutive Super Bowl, hopefully win a third consecutive Super Bowl, something that has never been done in the Super Bowl era. And along the way of this journey, there have been many weird, wild, and wacky stats. But I'm going to talk about some numbers today that I think are going to leave you very, very, very encouraged, not only that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to continue to make more AFC Championship and Super Bowl appearances along the way, but it could be a lot more. Look, we've all heard somewhere along the way that the average NFL career is 3.3 seasons, meaning the Kansas City Chiefs, by having appeared in 6 consecutive AFC Championship games, have essentially gone to the AFC Championship game for 2 average NFL careers consecutively, meaning there's a lot of churn along that way. The Kansas City Chiefs should have every right to be, and would logically, if you were to take a guess, be one of the older teams in the entire NFL. And I'm going to be 100% honest with you. While I don't have all of the numbers for all of the teams in the NFL, I don't think that's the case. We talked last season, after an interesting tweet from an NFL analyst, that the Kansas City Chiefs were, in fact, snap by snap, one of the younger teams in the entire NFL. And if you pull up the Kansas City Chiefs roster right now, 90-man roster, as we are before even training camp begins, 66 of the 90 players on the Chiefs' current roster are 25 or younger. Going to say that again. The Kansas City Chiefs' 90-man roster currently has 66 players 25 or younger, meaning, guys, that's only 24 players that are 26 or older. So, when you really break it down a little bit further, the Kansas City Chiefs have 6 players over 30. Only 2 of them are starters. The Kansas City Chiefs have 0 players over 35. They have 1 player. The oldest player on the Kansas City Chiefs is currently 34 years old. That is James Winchester, the long snapper. Those guys play until they are very long in the tooth. In fact, the Kansas City Chiefs are so young, there are currently 4 players on the roster that are finally able to buy their first pack of backwoods here in Missouri. Jaden Hicks is 21, Carson Steele is 21, Kingsley is 21, and Xavier Worthy is 21 years old as well. Now, the easy rebuttal to this would be to say, well, yeah, scrambling, but the Kansas City Chiefs are constituted in large part by a rookie class and a large class of undrafted rookie free agents, and that much is true. It's true that there are quite a few first-year players on this roster, but what we're looking at right here are the projected starting lineup for the Kansas City Chiefs, the offense and the defense, and we're going to look at this. Somehow, Patrick Mahomes has found himself as one of the grandpas on the roster at 28 years old. He's a quarterback. Quarterbacks can play until they're 40. Isaiah Pacheco, 25, Rashee Rice, 24, Marquise Brown, 27, Xavier Worthy, the aforementioned 21, Travis Kelce, a grandfatherly 34 years old. Is that right? 34? Wanye Morris, 23, Joe Thuney, 31, 31, pardon me, I'm ahead of myself right now. Creed Humphrey, 24. Trey Smith, 25. Jawan Taylor is 26 years old. I think, if I'm going to be very honest, it is possible that these offensive tackles do not remain as they are. Wanye Morris might start at 1, and Kingsley Suamatea might start at another, which would mean the Kansas City Chiefs offense average years would, or the Kansas City Chiefs would lose 4 years on their offense, as Kingsley is 21, Jawan Taylor is 26, meaning there's a 5-year gap between there. The Kansas City Chiefs offensive starters average 26.18 years old. 26.18 years old. And so we're just talking pragmatically here, okay? Not trying to say anything about anybody here at all. Joe Thuney, the second oldest player on the Chiefs offense, starting offense, 31 years old. Joe Thuney was lost during the playoff run last season. The Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl with Nick Allegretti on the field as opposed to Joe Thuney. Joe Thuney does a great job at left guard. Joe Thuney is a fantastic player to have on your offense. If you had to move on from your left guard, probably it would not be the end of your offense. The Kansas City Chiefs seem to have plans maybe not to move on from Joe Thuney, but to ease a transition away if that is necessary. You hope that an injury is not a sign of more injuries to come, but if it is, Joe Thuney being 31, the Kansas City Chiefs look better prepared this season than they did last year to replace Joe Thuney if need be. Travis Kelce, much more difficult to replace, obviously. But you do have a young tight end in Jared Wiley that has been making waves in minicamp. Obviously, minicamp is not an NFL Sunday or Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday or Friday or Saturday, all of the days that the Chiefs will play eventually. But that is not an NFL Sunday, but hopefully Travis Kelce sticks around for a few more years. On the defense, George Karlaftis somehow finds himself still 23 years old. Derek Nottie, 28 years old. Chris Jones, not 30, 29 years old, according to Chiefs.com. Mike Dana, 26. Drew Tranquil, 28. Nick Bolton, 24. Leo Chanel, 23. Trent McDuffie, 23. Justin Reed, 27. Brian Cook, 24. Jalen Watson, 25. One of the oldest men on the defense here, Justin Reed, done great for the Kansas City Chiefs. Not going to say he hasn't. It appears they have an heir apparent to Justin Reed in Jaden Hicks, in some of the things that Jaden Hicks is doing on the practice field, in some of the things that Jaden Hicks proved that he can do at the college level. Jaden Hicks, by size, might be the type of safety that you would want to replace Justin Reed. Derek Nottie, so Chris Jones is just a superstar. Chris Jones is just a stud. Chris Jones is just a freak. I don't know that it's necessary to really talk about Chris Jones moving on from him. Derek Nottie, the Kansas City Chiefs have signed to 14 consecutive one-season deals. They've been trying to find an alternative for Derek Nottie, and I don't know if he's on the roster, but they're going to keep taking stabs at that as long as they can. The average age for a defensive starter on the Kansas City Chiefs, 25.45 years. So again, the average offensive starter is 26.18 years old. 26.18 years old. The average defensive starter on this team, the defense was the shining star of this football team last season. The average defense, 25.45, about a half a year younger than the offense. The average NFL player, would you guess how old the average NFL player is? 26.5 years old. I could not find a stat for the average starter in the NFL. Probably that skews much, much older because you have guys, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, who play for a very long time, and they are eating that roster spot. They are eating that starting spot for much longer than many of the players under them on the depth chart wash through the NFL. How many quarterbacks come into the league for 1 year and are done because it's apparent they cannot do it, versus the guy who starts for 18 seasons, 20 seasons, etc. So probably the average NFL starter is older than 26.5 years old, but either way, both the average offensive starter and average defensive starter in Kansas City, projected albeit, the average offensive and defensive starters here in Kansas City are both under the average age of an NFL player. The Kansas City Chiefs have gone to 6 consecutive AFC Championship games. The Kansas City Chiefs have gone to 4 of the last 5 Super Bowls. The Kansas City Chiefs have won 3 of the last 5 Super Bowls. The Kansas City Chiefs are gearing up for their 3rd consecutive Super Bowl title run, and they are younger than the average team in the NFL. Guys, it's easy to say the Chiefs are going to be good for a long, long time because Patrick Mahomes is signed through 2030 or 2032 or whatever it is. I can't remember now. And that's true. So long as Patrick Mahomes is pulling the trigger in Kansas City, they will have a legitimate shot at a Super Bowl title. But the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be very, very good for a very, very long time because they are young. They are good in many different places, and they have Patrick Mahomes. That's all I have for this video. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to. Share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. And if you find yourself here by chance but not design, the Kansas City Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos every single week. And I hope to have you back for the next one.